Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Peter. Come on. First question, do I look better in real life or on DVD? Way to go. We're going to go well here. Tried to get you all a vodka because at this time you should need one. But I think first of all we should thank Sonia, and I'm going to get the name right, Mafadi, for putting this fashion palette on, because seriously that she cares that much to educate all of you people and to get people involved here and to actually give you lectures. I think you should put your hands together for her. I wish that was a vodka. Okay, so now this is going to be a conversation, not a lecture. And I don't call myself a fashion designer, I call myself a person who makes people feel better about themselves. So I want to give you the truth about who I am, what I do, what I've been through, what I believe, where I came from, and where I'm actually now. I say that I want to fashion people's lives, not just their wardrobes. And no, I didn't realise 25 years ago that I wouldn't be in a beach house in Miami with pool boys and servants and actually be doing what I'm doing today. And when you hear my story, it's amazing what you dream of in life and what you actually find. The reality is much better than the dream. And also I always say this, I'm Buddhist. The only way to be nice is to know how to be really bad. Come on. As I say to people, I would like to do a show in Paris, but being here today, if you all understand me and look at me when I'm finished here today, that'll feel better than doing a show in Paris. So when I see in your faces that you understand what I'm talking about and that you react when I talk, yes? Oh my God, yes? Yes. Good girls and boys. When I see that you understand what I'm talking about, well then that actually feels better than being a famous fashion designer. That's when I'll feel a success as a man. Now I'm not going to bag the fashion industry, but our job is not to put on people things that tell people about us. Our job is to make people feel better about themselves. So really, what I've done in life is quite amazing. I mean, I've watched that DVD and I find it quite amazing when you see interviews with Kate Blanchett and people like that and they say they don't watch their own movies. Why not? It reminds you of what you've succeeded in. So I believe knowledge is power. So today is more about how I'm going to tell you how to feel successful, not about how to be famous or how to be powerful. But really, most importantly, make you understand, it's not really where you get to that's the success. It's actually how you feel along the journey. Okay? Good. So I've worked in the Australian fashion industry for nearly 26 years. I've been a new designer, a famous designer, an abused designer, an in-court designer, the first designer to sell overseas, a disgraced designer. Did I say that? A disgraced designer. A designer sought out by the rich and famous and a multi-award winning designer. And now I'm regarded as an Australian icon, which I think is quite amazing because the Opera House and the Harbour Bridge are as well, but I've got a mouth. So one of my first jobs in fashion was working with Maggie Tabra. I used to sit beside her at her fashion shows with a bottle of wine and I'd fill her wine glass. So I did that for 2 years. And I'm still proud to call her a friend. But also I'm friends with Sass and Bide and now Kasubi, the Zimmermans and all that. And they call me the Mick Jagger of the fashion industry because I find it amazing. And I'll talk about Marsha Hines later. She has to sing at Ruby Hill, but when Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones come out here at age 70 or 68, they sell out concerts for 40,000 people and 60,000 people. So I'm the Mick Jagger of the fashion industry. I'm going anywhere. So I think I should win Celebrity Fashion Survivor because the tribe hasn't spoken and my flame hasn't gone out. Because you must have all heard the press with Malcolm Webster and owning Morrissey. Do we all know that bit? Oh, we'll get to that bit. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about my journey because then you'll understand what... Oh my God, I didn't know I was up. Seriously. If I get the wrong angle, my staff tell me I look like a thumb because my neck's the same width as my head. So please, if there is no light under my chin, I'm going to kill someone. I'm not... Oh my God. Lucky I did a wake and shake and blow-dried my hair. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little bit why I am so proud of the man I am. So I grew up in very humble beginnings in Carringbar down south, and my mother and father, who are both in heaven now, and I have to do this every time I look up because some spiritual person tells me they sit on a cloud, but we'll get to that later. Their first child was born dead and they were told not to have any more children, but they were Catholic rabbits. They had another 6. I'm the youngest of 6 children. I've got 4 older brothers and a twin sister. Now, have you all seen the movie The Castle? Yeah. Okay, that's my mum and dad. 5 boys slept in one room. My twin sister had another room. We only had 4 chairs. We had to eat in shifts of 2. My father was... Why are you laughing? That's not a laughing matter. My father was an electrician and my mother was a mother. I never realised that what you would call is poor. I didn't see a TV till I was 16. I didn't know what an avocado was till I was 26. I didn't drink French champagne till I was 32, smoke a cigarette till I was 32 and do those other naughty things which all of you are going to do tonight when you go to the after party. So my father used to say every morning, let's all get dressed to go dreaming, and I'd go, we fucking have to, I'm wearing hand-me-downs. So from the age of 9, I cleaned the school toilets to the age of 18 because we had to pay board at home. Now, not one day did I ever feel poor. So can you imagine when I'm there with Princess Diana that I grew up in the same room with my 4 brothers, didn't see a TV till I was 16, had to eat in shifts of 2 at home because we only had 4 knives and forks and 4 chairs and there were 8 of us. That I could say to my father, you're an electrician that built a house with 2 rooms and I met Princess Diana, I think you're fucking amazing. So, to finish off about my mum and dad and to explain really where I came from, my mother and father, for their 42nd wedding anniversary, I sent them to the Regent Hotel. Now, is that echoing to everyone or is it just me? Okay. Sorry. I sent them to the Regent. So their 42nd wedding anniversary, and by the way, my father never spent one night apart from my mother in 45 years till he got a brain tumour. So they'd been to motels and things like that. So my mother wore 1995 Fosse's outfits, a built-up shoe and a walking stick. My dad wore stubby shorts, Tarzan underpants and a tie on elastic if it was special. So they pull up in their car at the Regent and I get them $1,000 corner suite because there's Morrissey, Edmiston, and I'll get to that later. We made a lot of money, but from where I came from, so I put them in $1,000 corner suite. 3 days later, they're leaving and my dad rings me and goes, can you thank Colin the concierge for the OcuStrap? And I go, yeah, but then my other phone goes off and it's the PR people from the Regent. And they go, Mr. Morrissey, there's a problem with your parents. And I go, Mum used to fall over and things like that. And they go, they've taken some things. My mother and father thought, because I'd spent $1,000 a night, you got everything in the room. They stole $9,687 worth of furniture. Like, they took the bed head, the writing table, the pot plants. And my mother said, isn't it nice how they put that trolley of sheets and towels, you know, in the hallway so that you get a nice iron set? Now, how many times do you leave a hotel and go to the lift and it's there? So, why they needed the hockey strap was because they had a U-Haul trailer. Now, they only lived 3 more years, and people say, did you tell them? And I go, not on your fucking life. Sorry, I'm going to swear, not on your fucking life, because seriously, he was an electrician. He brought up 5 boys in one room, my twin sister in another. We had to eat in shifts of 2. You should get the fucking furniture for $1,000 a night. They lived 3 more years, and I used to go, I never told them, I go, Mum, this one's a bit tricky. At the Ritz-Carlton, she said, you're telling me the pictures are screwed to the wall, lucky your father's got his Phillips head screwdriver. So, after 3 years, they stole $36,000 worth of things. But to finish off explaining my father used to sit at dinner and go, Elaine, what do you call this dessert? And she'd go, it's no frills ice cream with ice magic. And he goes, I bet you can't get that in a restaurant. Try ordering no frills ice cream with ice magic in a restaurant. So, that is why that video, every time I watch it, is unbelievable to me. And this is what today I'm going to try and tell you. You can be whatever you want to be, as long as you want to be it, and as long as you respect where you came from. Not to forget where you came from. My father spent many years thinking that I was trying to forget him. I'm trying to tell every son of an electrician who had to grow up in the same room and wear hand-me-downs, I fucking met Princess Diana. So for the last 4 years, are we with me? Yeah. Is it good? Yeah. Cool. My manager's in the audience, so I'm going to get in trouble in a minute. But I get to talk about her in a minute. Okay, so for the last 4 years, the last 10 years of my life, Morrissey Rene Rivkin was my first backer. He sold me to Origin Group. Origin Group sold me to Malcolm Webster. So the last 10 years have been a little bit odd. So doing the Qantas uniforms was incredible, and I don't think many people know. For the last 4 years, I travelled round, and this is where I started doing these speeches. And I was appointed the ambassador for the Share the Spirit program. So there was Neil Perry, Kieran Perkins, all those, Kathy Freeman, but they would only go in New South Wales. I chose to take myself to remote locations of Australia where I thought they'd never meet a fashion designer. Interesting idea. So from Kalgoorlie to Port Macquarie to Wagga to Darwin to Broome to 32 locations. And so I would say to the kids, if you want to be famous, go on Big Brother. Because seriously, it's an ego trip, you do nothing for anyone else, and that's all it is. But if you want to be successful, then when someone looks in your eyes and says thank you because of what you did for them, and you made them feel that it feels better, and that's when you feel successfully recognised for how someone else's life was better. I said, I don't make clothes to make me look good. I make clothes so other people feel good. So the reason why I still exist after 26 years is because when people look at me, they felt like a princess one time, and I've spoken to people outside, they like the shirt. It's an amazing thing. So I teach kids, because can you imagine in Kalgoorlie? I've got 1,700 kids. So I go, so here, raise your hands here who wants to be a fashion designer. Raise your hands. Okay? Raise your hands who wants the job of your dreams. What are the rest of you going to do? Marry someone rich? So, I say to the kids, do you know who my celebrity is? My celebrity is my garbage collector, Sam. And I'm Buddhist, and even if I'm lying, seriously, I don't think Colette Dean and Akira will get up and say this. Nice, Peter. So, Sam the Garbage Man, because I've got Sam the Garbage Man autographs from Megan Gale, Elle McPherson and all that, because I go, Sam, you're not reading it, are you? He goes, no, mate. And I go, how are you? So he goes, I'm a mega star now with the Megan Gale and all that autograph. And I go, what do you say? He goes, Morrissey's too lazy, I take the shit out of his backyard every day, he needs me. So, the only way to be successful is, I can't believe that people think garbage collectors are dumb. What would we fucking do without them? I think it's an incredible thing that I teach kids. 2 intensive care nurses, different ones, were the last person my mother and father saw. Now they then went back to work, the intensive care nurses, and saw another person die. That is a successful, amazing person. So I'm not talking to you as a fashion designer today. I'm talking to you as a person that actually understands. It's about how you feel. Because really, after that video, that I'm here talking to you, as my mother said once you meet him, is actually quite nice. So, even like my sandwich maker, I've had a sandwich maker for 26 years and I walk in every day and go, no way you're still cutting the tomatoes. And he thinks my name's Morris. He goes, Morris, make way for Morris. Like everyone else just walks in there. I think it's remarkable that that man does that. So, to be successful or to be, famous, whatever and that, is to actually appreciate other people and make them understand. To be your personality makes up for your sexuality and your profession. I'm a homosexual famous fashion designer. I should be hideous. But my personality is quite nice. So, one last story. I'm the only designer ever in Australian history that's actually worked with Aboriginal artists and paid them. So when I did the Qantas uniforms and all that. So I have to work with Aboriginal kids. And I mean it nicely that I mentor 5 Aboriginal kids in Broome. 3 of them are boys. Can you imagine when we get their clothes? Because I go, no, we can't show those clothes. And I go, here's a new fashion designer, an Indigenous Aboriginal boy. I go to him, your life's going to be incredible. So as I say to them, raise your hands. They're between 15 and 18. And I go, raise your hands, see who has your own room. So they raise their hands and I go, cool, your housing's better than mine. I shared my room with 4 brothers. How many know what an avocado is? They raise their hands. And I go, your tan's for free, I have to fight a barley for mine. I go, so what's all this complaining about? And I said, you know what, if Kathy Freeman didn't run fast, she would have been a slow black person. They didn't like her because she was an Aboriginal. They liked her because she did her job really well. And also, by the way, in 1968, a 16-year-old came from Jamaica, America, a black woman. And then she found out she was pregnant. So, you know what, a single mother, black, Jamaican, here at 16. You know, that's pretty, in 1968, a little bit out there. In 1972 to 1975, she was crowned the Queen of Pop. They don't hate black people in Australia. They hate people that don't do anything. Her name is Marsha Hines. Her name now is Marsha Morrissey. She's married to my brother. No. Okay, with me? Yeah. Do you want to hear how I started? Oh, good Leona. First of all, we opened a store with 7 other designers, so we shared all the costs. So one day each designer would work in the store. Then I met Leona at college, and I'll talk about Leona later. One day Leona would work, one day I'd work. For 3 years we had our Morrissey Evanston store in the Strand Arcade. And as I say at the end of that video, it is not that I did anything incredible, it's just that I did it. You know, there's a famous quote from Madonna: if Justin Timberlake, Beyonce, Christina Aguilera were around when I was around, I probably wouldn't be as incredible as I am. But why I'm fabulous is because I'm really excited what I did made it possible for them to be them. So, get it? So at the same time, so all the ones that put their hands up as designers, so at the same time that we work in the store, I cleaned Franklin stores in the morning, I managed a petrol station overnight, I worked as an usher at the entertainment centre, just to support the business. Our studio was a spare room in the apartment, and we took the doors off the hinges and put them on milk crates to be our cutting table. And that was for 6 years, and we never had a holiday, public holiday or a weekend. So you have to work hard. And to all the fashion designers, you have to know how to make, you have to know how to sew. I mean, it's essential in your business. Okay, my beliefs in fashion in your life. Clothing is not art that you stand back and admire. You have to actually live in it. An architect can design the most beautiful home, but if no one ever builds it and lives in it, it's only a drawing. It's not actually a home. I honestly believe that fashion, like art and architecture, should excite and interest you, but you should always choose what you feel comfortable with. For example, you might really admire someone else's house, but you'd never want to live there. So I can't understand why people need to understand how to dress to suit the occasion. Enjoy the ability to dress for the occasions in your life, but not for the opinions of others. If you wear the look, you live the life. As I say to people, you're at the opera in jeans, go to a barbecue. I mean, it's not being... Fashion is the most incredible way to express yourself. Don't dress to impress, dress to express. Because in the social world that we live in, can you imagine women take 3 hours to get ready, and there's 700 people and it's free, and there's French champagne, a skull every glass. You know, but no one goes up to anyone else and goes, wow, you look good. Because it's a really weird thing, because you've got to understand, if you're trying to look better than someone else, there'll always be someone with a better jacket. And as I say to people, if they talk to your jacket before they talk to your face, give it to them. If they mention your belt, take it off. Because they should say, you look beautiful. Yes? Am I on the right track here? I like audience participation. I will come through the audience with a microphone. So, fashion is supposed to enhance your life. It's not supposed to torture you. And it really is only fashion when you smile. So think of that next time when you see people dressed up. And if they smile. Because are they wearing it so that you like them more, or are they wearing it because they feel like it expresses themselves? I believe that every day is a special occasion, and I believe fashion is the greatest way to enhance it. Fashion should give you the ability to express yourself, and I really do believe your personality is your best accessory, not your latest purchase, because even if you're wearing a bag of shit, hopefully they'll talk to you. Try it out. Fashion is so misunderstood. Right? People say, it's not, I can't look like that, it should be, do I want to look like that? So, for example, when I don't go near a mirror, I think I'm Brad Pitt. Work with me. So, but when I pass a mirror, I'm Bruce Willis. Disturbed every time. So, I can't understand that people don't... You know, you girls here, okay? I would kill... At 25, I had hair down to here. By 26, I had this. 3 years of therapy, because at 26 you look old, at 47 people say, oh, you still look the same. Not a great excuse. So, but I would kill to have hair, but I don't walk down the street every day and see a man with a full head of hair and go, I hate you. I would kill to comb and part it and scent it and all that. But all you women walk down the street and go, oh, look at her tits, or look at her hair colour, or look at that. I mean, seriously. Learn to love yourself, then you can dress yourself, okay? If you hate your hips, show your tits. If your legs are short, wear pants. If you're tired, put on a white shirt. It reflects on your face. Because I get lots of people say to me, you don't make clothes for me, and I go, why? And I go, do you think I make clothes for size 8 skinny blonde girls with big tits? And they go, yes. And I go, do you think I make clothes for a 5'9" bald 47-year-old with a 35-inch waist? And they go like that, and I go, squint your eyes. And I go, seriously. I stand for this brand, and I've got to get up every morning and make them starting at -50. I want you to look like Christy Tollian. Go. Like, seriously, I don't make clothes for you because you don't live the life that I think you should. Because, seriously, why would I want you to be that when I look like this? Because it's... I won't go on, that's a bit disturbing. So, the greatest compliment I receive is that a lot of people... Like today, if I could remember everyone's names outside, what they said to me, I thank you. Because I can make a piece of clothing, but you make it your life. And as I say to people, it is ridiculous. Designers walk around trying to express themselves on your bodies. I've had people come up and tell me they get a root when they wear my shirt. You know, dress makes their tits look good. Bring it on. I mean, seriously. I don't make raincoat coats to protect it from the rain. I make sleeveless tops so you forget it's raining. So I had an incredible 10 years with Michael Hutchins, and I dressed in excess. And at that time, I was a dag, like a real dag. But I now understand why he used to say to me, stand beside me, and he'd go, one day you'll want someone like you beside me. And I would just be like, oh my God. Like, there was everyone there. So, but he taught me, unless you're looked at, you don't exist. But always remember, it's about seeing than being seen. So to all the people I spoke to before, I think you'll understand. You got seen, didn't you? Because the worst thing about most celebrities is, it's not about seeing, it's about them being seen. So I was taught by very great people. And, you know, we can get to questions later. I've got great stories about Princess Diana, Naomi Campbell and Madonna. That'll probably stop you asking me about pattern-making questions. But it's easy to create a moment. It's very hard to create a lifetime. And I'll give you an example, and my partner is in the audience. So to dress Kate Blanchett and Elle Macpherson and all that is incredible, but it's easy. So the first time me and my partner were out, we were at Bondi, Westfield, Bondi Junction. No, Westfield, Bondi Junction. Do you want to hear the story? Yes. Okay. Love a bit of sport. You're going to die at this story. After the movie, so, you know, we're walking along, and I do forget I'm me, because once again, I think I'm Brad Pitt, so work with it. I forget I'm me, and so I'm walking along with my partner, and he hasn't seen that this has happened before. So there's 3 people race up to us. One is an 18-year-old, one is a 62-year-old, and one is a 89? 99? 89. Sean? 89, in a wheelchair. So they're going, are you him, are you him? And I go, who's him? Like that. And then I go, oh, okay. And so then I go, hang on a minute, are you all right? You haven't seen this? And I go, but first of all, I am him, but can I ask a question? You know, Thursday night, 7 o'clock. How are you all related? The 18-year-old was the niece of the auntie, who's 62, pushing their 89-year-old grandmother in a wheelchair. I said, before you hug me, I want a group hug, because seriously, I think that's sensational. A niece and an auntie pushing their grandmother on a Thursday night, 7 o'clock at Westfield Bondi Junction is so incredible. So, group hug on that point. So the 18-year-old goes, I've got a dress of yours. The 62-year-old goes, no, I've got the blondie dress, Georgette. The nana goes in the wheelchair, and I wish sometimes I was making this up. So remember, the dress Kate Blanchett says, she goes, is this him? And I go, and she goes, they gave me one of your tops for Mother's Day. It's the thing I feel most sexy in, and I go... And as my partner reminds me as we get to the lift and he's got a tear coming out of his eye, thank God, because if you think this is normal, I go, you do know I wasn't thinking about you when I made the top. And then I end up sitting on the lap and going, but if I wasn't with him, I'd be coming home with you now to see it in. And so as I'm hugging her and they're wheeled off, the Nana goes, did he just say he'd do me? So, to make Kate Blanchett look good, easy. To make an 88-year-old Nana in a wheelchair feel sexy, I'm a fucking genius. Okay, do you want to hear things that don't teach you in college? Business is not a competition, it's a profession. In life, being a designer, it is a job. In college, it's often based on competitions and winning. Seriously. Don't get involved in that. As I have to judge lots of student fashion things, I go, would you wear this? And they go, no. And I go, would your friends wear it? No. What on earth did you make it for? Like, seriously. I mean, if you're going to go in a competition, make something you or your friends or someone can wear. To be a successful designer, you have to make clothes that are wantable, desirable and usable. You have to become known. The word famous is disturbing, but your product must support your fame. End result of being well known should be that your product is reaching and satisfying lots of customers, and that is why they're looking at you. This Fashion Week and all that sort of thing, where people do shows and exhibitions to get themselves known, but they don't have any money left to produce the orders, is ridiculous. And I mentor students all around the country, so it is great to get the attention, but the attention should be based on your business. So be very careful of it. You have to really understand how many people you need to run a business, because in the beginning you'll do all the jobs. You'll answer the phone, you'll do everything, but then you'll start to answer the phone cranky and all that. So actually understand you need different people. Aim as big with business plans as you do with design dreams. Essential, get a business planner. Essential, get a cash flow. Essential, because if you're left to do the creative and the design, then if someone else controls it so that you do actually make money from it, you'll have a business. Because if your top doesn't sell, it's not that people don't need it, it's that you don't understand what they need to wear. And I'll get to that about the economic climate in a minute. Is this all good for you? Yeah. No one's writing. Cheeky. So selling to department stores is where you should aim. Because with a department store you can get 16 outlets in one. They will pay every bill. So don't aim for little outlets that you've got to run and chase the money and all that. Go for a department store. Find out what the department store want. And it's an incredible learning experience because everyone shops in a department store. If you want to be a fashion designer, a dress is not a dress until it's worn. So, learn that. Because it's very important that you understand clothing is not clothing until someone wears it and then someone else says to someone, you look beautiful tonight. Costings, especially in this economic climate, look at what the dress should sell for and then work back. Do not start with that, and then when you add it up, it's $1,200. Because seriously, most people are eating at McDonald's now. Most people are fighting to keep their homes. No one is going out to dinner, and I've jumped pages, so I'm not going to keep going on that one. Marketing, you are just as important as your product. Be mannered, be appropriate, be humble, be excited. And be thankful to everyone who assists you in every big and little step towards reaching your dream. Do you know the reason why I was in so many magazines and newspapers? Not because of my dashing good looks. Do you know I'm the only designer in 14 years that wrote a thank you note to every newspaper editor, every magazine person, for every picture that I got given. So, if I was all of you, do you know how many people don't get thanked? So, a newspaper has 138 pages. The news programs have to interview one designer. They're going to go to the mannered one. And all the social photographers, you know that I'm the only one that knows every one of their names, whether their wife's got cancer and all that sort of thing. So, the only way to be nice is to know how to be really bad. Marketing tool, but also I mean it. They're taking your picture, you should thank them. So understand, you can make that business happen for you if you appreciate the people in those areas. Sorry. You should respect who you want to become. I find it quite amazing that, Maggie Tabra, Carla Zampatti, George and Harry, In America, they would be the, Valentino, the Donna Karan and all that. And I'm with a lot of young designers all the time. Now, they don't even respect me. So I'm constantly looking after Maggie Taylor and all that sort of thing. So what on earth are you going to become if you don't actually understand that Stuart Membry, Trent Nathan, all these people in this country made it possible? And Leona and I were the first people ever to sell overseas, before Colette Dinnigan and Akira, before anyone. And the only people who have ever come up with the Zimmermans and thanked us for making it possible, for what was possible to do. So that you might want to sell overseas, or you might think everything's bigger and better over there. But what a crock of shit. Because seriously, wherever you sell and wherever they wear your clothes is a fabulous place. So say you want to be sass and buy. Do people want to be sass and buy in the audience? Usually they do. No. Does anyone? I'm so excited. Well, you should, if you want to compete, okay, say you want to be any designer, Wayne Cooper, whatever, you should stand outside their store. You should watch the customers go into the store, see if they wear high heels, see if they wear flat shoes, see if they have their hair blow dried, see if they have a pullback and a ponytail. Do they wear earrings? What sort of sunglasses do they wear? Because the only reason they will come and not buy Sass & Bide or another label and buy yours is because you'll offer something that suits their life. That is how you make a business. So if you want to do racewear, you've got to go to the races and understand it. So design, but actually understand you've got to design something that people have got to live in. So really, really monitor what people from the other businesses are doing and their customer is, and you'll learn a whole lot about how to have a successful business. So now down to me today. Given the current the current climate, I'm a little bit more proactive and hungrier than ever, seeing I'm unemployed. You have to be. My focus is developing long-term projects around style and design that can adapt to this economic storm and boom when the economy booms. And I'm very proud to say that the last year I've had Harry Miller and his daughter, who I love and respect, Lauren Miller, look after me. Now, that is the greatest compliment alive, because I think you know the history of Harry and his daughter. Like, they have given me the belief back in me. And so we are doing incredible things. But they also understand that out there, there's Maggie Tabra, there's Deborah Hutton, there's Kylie, there's Elle, there's Megan Gale, there's Delta Goodrum. In America, no one would buy anything off Jennifer Aniston, but they'll buy coffee off George Clooney. Hi, my name's George Morrissey. That's where I'm going. So I now own 100% of Peter Morrissey, and like any good brand, it takes investment and reinvestment to stay at the top of your game. 75,000 Australians every day get dressed in a Peter Morrissey uniform. So as I try and say to people, how's your latest collection? And they go, good. And I go, 75,000 Australians get dressed in 8 pieces a day. Multiplied. It's over 1 million pieces a day. So most people think I sold out. That's not selling out. You make clothes so they're worn. So my belief is that I make them happier with their job, not just because the design was good of their uniform, but because how appreciated they feel by their CEO to actually give the gift of a uniform designed by me. And just last week, I just signed the biggest uniform deal ever, and I don't know how, it'll take a long story, but I'm the new designer of McDonald's. Now, you know how I told you I travelled with Qantas? So I used to have to go to kids who were raped by their parents, or they'd stab their teacher because my parents were heroin addicts and overdosed, and when the teacher said, have you done your maths homework, they couldn't say that they'd gone and robbed the corner store to feed their younger child. Now, work with me. I've met Princess Diana, John Bon Jovi, all this sort of thing. I'm in Albury with kiddies that stab their teachers. So I had to find a job. So I looked at McDonald's. 18 to 21-year-olds at McDonald's turn over $3 to $6 million businesses. They're the best business people. So I would get all the delinquents into McDonald's. So then I'm now launching the Year of the Manager. So most people think I'm doing, it's a fast food, but 80% of Australians will have to eat in McDonald's with this economic climate. I just want it to look like it's not a cheap place to eat. And so I'm very proud that actually when journalists ask me, and I go, I'm respecting the 18 to 21-year-olds who run bigger businesses than anyone, and I'm respecting that a company actually takes on board people to actually give them a future. See? Nice. Where am I at? Okay, so I'm a very lucky man with what my job has brought me and what I've been through. And I say to people, you have to work every day in life. But every day someone actually recognises me and thanks me for how they felt, which is an incredible experience. So remember that being a fashion designer is not when you design or make clothes, but when someone tells you how they felt wearing them. And if you only hear this once, then you'll feel like a fabulous person. So you know how I said how I started my life? The castle? Yeah. And that video, Princess Diana, everything? Okay, so at age 35, at the peak of everything, selling in New York and everything, my best friend dies of AIDS, my father dies of a brain tumour, my mother collapses at his bedside with cancer, my boyfriend leaves me Joe Bailey on Friday because he knows Leanna Emerson's going to leave me on Monday. I lose $3.5 million, 2 houses, 4 cars. I try suicide twice. So I'm a living, breathing example that I'm a success at failure. But you know I'm a success because you should make every time you fall over, when you stand up, your greatest debut. Because as I say to people, then Rene Rivkin backed me. Rene Rivkin goes to jail for Qantas shares. I design Qantas uniforms. Tell me my life isn't a mini-series. So then Origin Group buy me. They selling to Malcolm Webster. Malcolm Webster now is closing Morrissey. So Morrissey was never a reaction against Morrissey Emerson. It is an extension of Morrissey Emerson. Peter Morrissey will be an extension of Morrissey, not a reaction. It's just disappointing that people that own something that I dreamt up 26 years ago didn't understand it's not about them. It's about the customer. Because it is quite an amazing thing. And look, to be this nice, you have to know how to be really bad. There were times I wanted to machine gun. Okay? So, I got taught by a very great spiritual person. These are a little bit deep and meaningful, Dr. Phil. Do you want to hear this? Yeah. You might cry. So I got taught by a spiritual person that who you are is pretty incredible. How people treat you is not your fault. And when I was going to court with Leanna Emerson, and I'm not going to say anything bad, but I'm going to tell a true story. My father had just died, never spent one night apart from him 45 years. My mother pulled up outside court, says to the person outside court, "Have you met my youngest son?" I mean, he's made a disgrace of himself. It took his father, a brain tumour, and me to get cancer to find out something hurt more than our famous homosexual fashion designing son. Now, she meant it Jewishly nicely, but she was Catholic. So, she was the longest running woman in the history of the Southern Hemisphere to have chemotherapy for 3 years, because she couldn't go anywhere with what Leona had done to me. So, outside the court, Mum walks up and she'd read Leona's affidavit and she goes, "When will the press get hold of this?" And I said, "Well, if we're in one more day in the Supreme Court, then they can read it." And she goes, "Even your mother believes it." And I said, "It's not true, but even I believe it." She said, "You look like a shaved head homosexual. She looks like Audrey Hepburn. Give her everything." So I gave Leona everything. The only thing I asked for, my mother with cancer had dreamed of going to the Olympic Games. I bought my mother a gold pass to the Olympic Games so me and her could sit and watch the first Olympic Games in Sydney. Leona took that as well. So after all that, the Olympic Games in Sydney approached me, and I had 28 meetings. And so Morrissey Emerson should have done the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games. And like I used to say to Sokol, I can't believe, 4.5 billion, I want to do it. And so after 28 meetings, you're not allowed to tell anyone, I said, "Can I tell someone?" So I drive to my mother in hospital, and I go, Mum, they're doing the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games. She picks up the phone beside her, she rings Father Peter, who I'm named after, she goes, "I'll be dead a week on Wednesday, thank God, he's finally got, he'll be all right." My mother died a week on Wednesday, but the last word she said to me, she came out of coma and she sits up in a rehabilitation home. There's lots of people in beds, so they start to talk. I mean this nicely, your father becomes a vegetable and your mother's not a cat. It's adorable in lots of ways. Because really it is your job to exist as them for the rest of your life. And I don't wear rosary beads to look like Dolce & Gabbana. My mother and father said the rosary every night. So from here they've seen some pretty amazing things. So my mother sat up out of a coma and she goes, "Has she still got the tickets?" And I go, "Who, Mum?" And she goes, Leona, I hope so. She'll have a beautiful view of what my son has become. So when people ask me, do you talk to Leona? And I go, hard enough to talk to your mother when she's dying, but the last words are, and then I found out my mother rang Leona 75 times a day for 2 years going, leave my son alone. But my mother said, you look like a shaved head homosexual, but written on your gravestone will be, I met him and he's actually quite nice. So do we have any questions? God, that's a good reaction. But believing that coming here today and talking to you is as worthy as anything. Because seriously, I'm not lying. I've gone through so many changes, and most people go, even if I'm lying, it's still nice. But seriously, I think if I hadn't gone through everything, I wouldn't have become this person. And I think it's essential that you do pass on stories and that you do... Look, life isn't full of bad luck, it's full of incredible lessons. Because it's been an amazing journey, and it ends up with me here today talking to you. And hopefully, if I get 10% of you that today have learnt something from this, then it was worth it. Because this isn't about me. Why on earth, after I've met all those people and done it, like, in Kalgoorlie at 8:30 in the morning, I go to the kids. If they don't clap and they think it's about me, I go, I've met Princess Diana, I'm going to go off stage and come back on. Because seriously, why would I be in Kalgoorlie at 8:30 in the morning after that? And so then they get it. It's about them. So my greatest achievement is that I'm nice. Thank God they clap. Anyone else? What? Oh, thank you. You're sweet. I'm going to give you a kiss when I get off here. Anyone else? Yeah.
My name's George.
Where did you get the microphone from? Oh, eh? Did you bring that in your bag?
Yeah, my rucksack.
Yeah.
I'd just like to thank you for being a mentor to all of us. You've been a big inspiration. I just want to know what drives you to keep going after all the hardships you've been through?
Well, because I really believe that if you don't understand whatever happens to who you are is pretty incredible, how people treat you is not your fault. My mother called me a slow learner. But I really believe, as people often say, I find people whinging about things and I just go, people go, you can't get a drink, it's at these functions. I go, it's free and it's French champagne. Go to the bar, skull. I find a lot of things that if you don't learn what happens to you in life is to teach you something. So it's quite remarkable that I'm not rocking in a corner with voodoo dolls of Leona and that. But you know what, if you look at her now, my mother said, she might look like Audrey Hepburn. Now, my mother was my mother was in the picture with Barry Humphries up there, a beautiful woman, and she said, she might look like Audrey Hepburn now, but one day she'll look like Joan Crawford. My mother said it. She's a witch anyway.
Thank you.
But look, to all of you, do you understand? I loved Leona for 14 years. I think what we did was incredible. I don't like how she treated my mother. And we had 36 staff. She walked out one day and she never came back. All 36 staff had to go to therapy, and she tried to sue me because all the staff wanted to work with me. And so my Buddhist approach is that when you love someone, you bury them and you go to the grave and you remember all the good times. Or you spend the rest of your life rocking in the corner going like that. So that other person, I don't know. Because seriously, your mother's dying and it must have hurt her so much that she had to stay alive for 3 years to see that her son would be recognised. Because look, I was a shaved head homosexual. Everywhere I went for 2 years, everyone thought that Leona was abused. Now can you imagine? My mother would just say, shut your mouth, there's no way in hell they're going to believe you. So, it's not fashion I'm talking about. It's personality. So don't buy a product. No, buy a product. You know what? I spoke to the other night I spoke to her for the first time in 12 years. And you know what I said to her? And I had witnesses. the Zimmermans nearly collapsed. I said, can you just put on your face that you are proud of what we did together? Like, can you just get over this? And by the way, you're wearing a diamond and sapphire brooch I bought you after our opening in Henry Bandel's. And I said, but I didn't realise that Ros Raines was watching her, and when I was on stage she was rolling her eyes and all that. So Ros Raines writes the whole story about that Leona could have won an optometrical, event because of how many times she rolled her eyes. All I wanted to do is walk around and say how proud. Like, because you left me, honey. And you know why she left me? She didn't want to open any stores, she didn't want to show in New York, she didn't want to do any more catwalk shows. She has a store in LA, she has a store in London. Whoops.
Hi, I'd just like to say that was really inspirational. And it opened my eyes, and you made some really good points about the up-and-coming generations and how they do just think about themselves. And a lot of things they do get, and they don't have to work for it. And you really pointed out that you can make it if you try hard, and everyone needs to realise that they do have to work hard, and it's not just going to be...
You know what, when I had to work with kids for the last 4 years, they either wanted to be Robbie Williams or On Home and Away or Big Brother. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
Disturbing.
It's not about them, it's about everyone, it's about the community. And I came from a community which you described sort of the whole McDonald's thing, and it's very true. There's people out there that can make it if they try, and there's other people that are around.
Oh, you're cute. Come down here for a cuddle. Come on, we can dig your question down. See, as I said before, just showing Paris is easy. Look at that. I don't care about the rest of you. I care about her. You can start with me. Come on. Oh, don't keep crying. Really? Have you got friends here? Touch my bottom and go back to your friends. Come up to me later, okay? I'm going to help. I've got something especially... I robbed my stores before they closed. You just reminded me of one good bit. You're good. You could be my assistant next time. Okay, sorry. We can still have more questions just while I find this one little bit. Shaved head homosexual, we've done that bit. Oh, I've got it. Okay, any more questions? Hello. What was your name, cute crier? What? Tiana. God, seriously? The names? Pull the microphone down.
Hi, I bought my first skirt from you when I was 16 and I loved it, so I just wanted to say thanks.
Oh, you know what? I love it. As I say to people, thank God. Like, seriously. Most designers today go to me, what do you think about my shirt? I go, it's got 17 sleeves. And people used to say to me, your suit looks very Gucci. And I go, did Tom Ford do black pants with a zipper at the front and a waistband? Don't tell me he did a black suit with a lapel and 2 sleeves. Did he go crazy and put a white shirt with a collar underneath it? No way! What do you want me to put a third leg? So I thank you, because if you wear it, then it comes to life.
Well, it was 16 years ago, but my question is about manufacturing in general. Do you think manufacturing's dead? I'm in the footwear trade and I'd love to see it come back.
I don't think the government here supports manufacturing. And seriously, when I did Qantas and we were interviewed, you have to make it offshore. I mean, there is no... the wool, I work with AWI, the wool is sent overseas, comes back and you buy it. Like, it disturbs me. So, at this moment, the only thing you should all be looking at is upping your units, taking it overseas, because you'll be able to sell it. If you made it here, say you made 15 here, they'd cost you $80. If you made 100 over there, they'd probably cost you $15. So everyone, whatever you're doing, make 100 of them, take it offshore, you'll get a price, you'll spend the same amount of money for what you would have done here. And write letters to the government.
Can you hear me?
Unfold your arms.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
When you came to Darwin,
Just bend it down a little bit.
when you came to Darwin a few years ago, I actually why school would come and see
Was I good?
you. You were excellent.
Yeah, see?
I nearly finished my advanced diploma in fashion design.
Yeah.
And that experience constantly pushes me to work harder and harder.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time to come up to Darwin and see us.
Thank you. Now I'm going to cry. But you know what? Thank you, thank you. See? Out of those two people, if you don't understand, the only way to be nice is to know how to be really bad. You will never see Colette Dinnigan, Akira and all those people here. Because I'm not a fashion designer. I'm actually a person who's making your lives feel better. And that I did that in Darwin, and one person, you know what? I'm going to have a vodka after this. Wish I didn't have a full knee reconstruction because I can't go off like a box of crackers.
I wanted to say thanks for speaking so openly as well. And also, I was wondering, you said to approach department stores. How do we do that?
You go to department stores and you ask them for advice.
Is there a specific
If you go to
person, like a job title that should be...
I would go from Collie Garnsey down to David Bush. Just act interested. Okay, and also just say you don't want to sell your range to them, but you would like their opinion. Because the only reason I sold white shirts in David Jones was because I removed every other white shirt. If you're going to put me on the TV commercial, like seriously. So they would love to give you advice. And it's incredible advice because really, what most fashion designers don't, you've got to dress for reality and fantasy. And why I hate Australian magazines at the moment is because there should be pages where there's witchery white shirts and all that sort of thing, so that everyone every day can get dressed like American Rogue, you know, like, and then some fantasy. So understand, I call it Morrissey needs. Oh no, forget that. I call it Peter Morrissey needs, Peter Morrissey wants, Peter Morrissey desires. My needs are t-shirts and jeans. My wants are business suits, and for women, you know, a beautiful dress. But my desire is a tuxedo and an evening dress. And by the way, if Tiffany's over the last 9 years has only sold 7 diamond rings, but they sell out of key rings and stationery every week. So, they know their needs.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Hi, sorry. Thank you for your talk. You made me cry. I've got a number of your dresses at home.
I'll try and make him cry. Come on, I'm making you cry.
I've got quite a few Morrissey dresses at home. I absolutely love them. Voice felt fabulous.
They're good, aren't they?
My 21st birthday especially was the Morrissey dress.
Good girl.
Unforgettable.
Which one was
it? Purple, really low back,
Oh.
3/4 split front,
Yeah.
and a chain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect.
No,
In a silk jersey halter neck with a gold chain around the neck. I designed that one.
Thank you.
I think you can tell the ones I haven't designed in the last few years, don't you? You don't get a root in them. I mean, can I just say this? Sorry, I'm listening right for a minute. And I have witnesses to that. Guys come up to me in the street. You know, as I say, I don't give a shit what the fashion public or the press think. But I have Lebanese guys come up to me in the street and they go, oh my God, I get rooted every time I wear my shirt. And as I say to people, Akira does kimonos, Colette Dinnigan does lace overseas that ladies buy that aren't buying art any. Do I go there? Everyone gets rooted in my clothes. Do you think that look at me. I go to them, I'm really excited with my title, but I never went, I'm going to make rooting clothes. But you know my evening wear, you know that dress you wore? Isn't it like that? You only go like that and it's on the floor, isn't it? Alex Terry, on your life, all that boning. See, now I'm not going to go, am I?
I'll just ask my question now.
Are you crying too? Come down for a hug. Come on. Come to Daddy. Come on. I like being hugged. Why are you crying?
When are you going to make more dresses? That's what I want to know.
Honey, what they've put me through in the last 10 years up there, I ain't going anywhere. Because guess what? I'm finally actually being respected and appreciated. And as I say to people... Okay, you know what? As I say to people, and my manager is here. I mean, seriously, do you know what? I've been owned by 4 people. But can you stop crying? I'm going to make you look good. Good Lord. Take that. Yeah, I blow on tea towels. Come here. So, my manager's here tonight, and I want to thank Laura and be like, you know what? In all the shit I've been through, Rene Ripken was the greatest gift I was ever given. So you all know what he did bad? But do you know, at that time when the owner left me and I was publicly disgraced, that man backed me. Not Table 8, not gazelles, not all that. And he used to go to me, how on earth... And Rene wouldn't buy paintings because they couldn't light his cigar. Intelligent, but not to tell the media. So, my gift to Rene is that for the rest of my life I'm going to be a beautiful example of what he did well. All the other owners thought that they could buy my mansion, redecorate it, and not respect the people that used to like how it looked. So, with Lauren Miller, who's sitting up the back, who believes in me, and we walk around and I just go, everyone goes, how are you doing with all the press about Morrissey closing? And I go, the taxi drivers going, I hated them as well, can't wait to see what you're doing next, corner shop owner. I said, it is disturbing, and I'm humbled, but everyone's, I mean, seriously, I've been here for 26 years, I've tried 4 times and everyone's still cheering. Thank you. And I'm going to do it. Take care of yourself. Oh, Mike, I'll get you one. Because I've just realised I stole that too. Stop crying. Good Lord. I'm excited. You're all sweet, aren't you? Someone give her a hug on the way upstairs. Touch her bottom. You know babies like their bottom patted? Have you heard to me as well?
Yeah.
I was on those for 6 weeks.
This lady over here has been patiently waiting.
Oh, sorry.
Hi, I'd just like to say, oh, sorry. No, you go. I know you can wait. Go. You sure? Thank you. I'd just like to say I'm studying my advanced diploma in fashion design now, and I wore your dresses, and I can only hope to make someone feel as good as I felt when I wore your dress.
Are you crying too? Lord. This is like... Thank you. You know what, I can't say this enough, and if you don't understand, and if I could bring my partner down here now, I can't thank you enough for what you're saying, because seriously, to find out that people actually... It is a revolting industry, the fashion industry, because you know why? Because most of them don't give a shit about their customer. And I just want to say this one bit, and this is for you. I want to fashion people's lives. Do you know why? Do you know I'm going to give you a big secret here. I'm mentioning like this. But I'm going to show you I understand that the economic situation by helping you economise, but not compromise your needs, wants and desires. I can't believe Icebergs, Wildfire, all those restaurants don't write on their windows on Thursdays. We know you're all struggling, so pastas are $10 tonight. Do you know that 500,000 Americans lose their job a month? Do you know that it hasn't even started here, it's 18 months. So when you find out what I'm doing next, I'm not opening on Rodeo Drive because it's not the right time. But imagine if you bought a Colette Dinnigan dress or an Alex Perry dress and you walked into home and said, how do I think? Your nan's lost all the superannuation, probably 2 of your brothers have been retrenched and your mum and dad are fighting to pay the mortgage on their home. How do you look? I think you look like a fucking bitch. Okay? So what you've got to understand is that if you're going to do fashion now, understand that people can't go anywhere. People can't even afford to do anything. So take that into consideration. As I say, I don't make balls. I study the economic climate. I don't make a tuxedo when no one's going to balls. So the reason why I'm doing McDonald's is because 80% more Australians will be eating in McDonald's. I want them to feel like they're not poor. I want them to feel like it's fabulous.
Okay.
What you do to your knee?
Hip.
Hip?
Fell from mountain bike.
I was on that for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Hideous.
3 months.
I've got to go to December. Ugh.
Look, I'm not going to cry, but...
I wouldn't mind hugging you.
Yeah.
I'm hungry, but I'm not starving. Thank you.
Look,
I wanted to thank you. I think that was incredibly inspiring for everyone here, in particular.
Thank you.
I really found it
Good Lord,
inspiring.
now I'm going to cry.
The fact that you're really proud of being Australian and also proud of your parents and where you've come from, and you're obviously proud of yourself and who you've become is very inspiring to me and I'm sure to everyone here.
I think honesty is the most intoxicating thing you can listen to. And as I only found out 2 weeks before my father died that he actually thought I did everything to try and forget. And my father was there, vegetable, watching me on TV, and he goes, "How?" And I said, "Because I want to show every other son of an electrician in this country who, when I went to Igloo Deli and bought Devon, because I didn't know what Mortadella was. Have you ever bought $5 worth of Devon at Igloo Deli?" That's when I found out I was poor, that it is possible. And so my father finally got it 2 weeks before he died. So I thank you, because I think most people should admit what they're scared of. How can you learn anything if you didn't know it before?
Also, the stuff you said about giving is where it's all about. I think you're 100% right. Every success I've had in my life to this point has been when I'm giving. Whenever I try to take, whenever I try to concentrate on me, it's an abysmal failure. So it's a really good point. And,
but you should, you know what? You should give to get back.
Yeah.
Or you're an idiot. As I say to people, I don't help charities. I should look good from helping charities. But you know what? I run a McDonald house. I cook dinner with Carl Sandlands for 19 under 6-year-olds dying of leukemia and cancer, and people go, "Did they recognise you?" I go, "They're under 6, dying of leukemia and cancer." They don't have any idea. But I do it because I want to do that, but it should make you... So give, but make sure you're respected for it.
Okay. I've just got a couple of questions about fashion, if that's okay.
Okay.
One is...
Don't really do my fashion talk, Philip Georgette.
The longevity of your career and fashion longevity in general, like, what is it that is consistent? It's everything's changing. There's a new season, like we've seen some of the people talking today. You know, they've got one season, like five different ranges in one season or something.
A brand has to make you feel something. To last, a brand... Morrissey makes you feel something. Peter Morrissey gives you the power to feel the seduction of actually living life. So Nike, you know, when everyone puts on Nike sweatsuits and all that sort of thing, they actually feel like they've exercised. Walt Disney's mantra was not to make cartoons or build amusement parks, it was to make people happy. Morrissey actually gives you the power to live life, to wear the look and live the life. Because as I say to people, most people won't ever get to go to Manhattan. If on Friday night you put on a long dress, you serve martinis, open the door, you're in Manhattan.
So I get that from a philosophy point of view. How do you translate that into the actual clothes?
By understanding, I make clothes based on where I think people are going and how they want to feel. I mean, if your husband hasn't taken you out to dinner and you've got 4 children, then you put on my satin dress and some high heels, do your hair and makeup, you'll have a babysitter booked in about 10 minutes and you'll be out at dinner. Not you. I think what most fashion designers don't understand, I think of the woman. So I think of the woman that... I think women are the most exquisite creatures God ever created. I've got a twin sister and my mother in heaven. Their chairs should be pulled out, their doors should be open. But not if they've got Hollywood tape on. And not if they don't dress like a woman. Because the only time a gentleman will be a gentleman is when he finds a gentlewoman. And so as I say to people, I dress the woman that is going to be walked to the taxi. I dress that. So you should whisper elegance. So you've got to, when you design, you should think of where the person's going and try and make them feel special.
Okay. Just one final question. I'll try and be quick to let everyone else who... Sorry. The final question is about sexuality and sexiness. The clothes that you have and the stuff that you do, especially for women, I think is absolutely amazing and incredibly sexy.
They're sensual, not sexy.
Okay. All right.
Paris Hilton's sexy. She should have tattooed on her forehead. No one is that.
So you've told us so many times today you shaved head, homosexual and all that sort of stuff. So
people think I'm a closet heterosexual.
So where does it... So for you, how do you express sensuality or the sexiness and the femininity in your
Because,
clothes?
well, because to be gay or straight is a crock of shit. To be a gentleman is what life is about, or to be a gentlewoman. Because, seriously, when I meet God, I'm going to kick him in the balls. Well, I'm sure Mum and Dad have done it before me. Because I have to work with gay kids and things like that who are a disgrace. Because they think their mum and dad don't understand. I understood why mum and dad would never understand. So I showed them everyone who loved me. And so they felt comfortable. Because I think most people use their homosexuality or their sexuality to stand out. Your personality is your best accessory. Because seriously, when people say, what do you do? I'm a fashion designer. Some people even ask me if I tried the women's clothes on. Look at me. Seriously, that's disturbing. So, I think women, you know what, I am a closet heterosexual. I dress the State of Origin Blues. I'm a member of the Sydney Swans. The football players call me fake fag. And because I really believe that every man and woman should be made to feel special. And when I met Princess Diana, and I don't know whether you read it in the paper, do you want to hear the story?
Yeah.
Princess Diana arrived in Australia at the Victor Chang Institute, you know, the last time she came here. Now, Charles was with Camilla at that time, but she's representing the royal family. And Joe Bailey was my boyfriend at the time, so he was doing her hair. And she walked down the carpet on her own. And unbelievable. At the entertainment centre, $1,000 a head, 1,000 people. And I was a dag at this time, so I'd actually made out I'm going to dance with the princess, because I can borrow and dance. So Buckingham Palace put security on me, and I got to meet Diana, and I went up to her and I said, and you know what, do you know why celebrities love me? Because I slide on my knees on a one-dimensional reason going, oh my God, Naomi Campbell, black supermodel. But when I talk to Naomi, she's a fantastic person as well. So I go up to Princess Diana and I go, I've just got to say, as a princess, you're unbelievable, but I just watched you during dinner, and I got to meet her at the table. She rocked on her own in the chair, she rubbed her bare shoulder, but she's just walked down the carpet representing the royal family, who the Queen's let now Charles and Camilla do that. And I go, I thought the princess was good, but you are the most incredible woman ever. And I said, do many people tell you, come up to you, and she goes, what do you mean? And I said, well, I'm gay, but I do you. And she goes, what does do you mean? I go, I root you. And she goes, no, you might think I've never met anyone like you. And I said, so in the last 14 years, so every man in this room, no one had ever told her. So the only social shock she had taken with the commoner was with the boy from Carrington. And my father died with it on his lap going, if Diana likes him, he's all right. Will I wind up? Oh, sorry.
Hi Peter, I was lucky enough to interview you last year for Sunsilk and Fashion TV.
At home?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
I just wanted to
And
say...
I gave your girlfriend the dress.
That's correct, and me my dress, so I just wanted to say a personal thank you.
Pleasure.
And also, what are your goals for the future?
To be happy and to satisfy people and to get a reaction like this everywhere I go. Okay, so I'm going to wind up now. Oh, sorry. I've never been this popular. My head's going to be a little bit crazy at home.
Hi, just quickly, can I have a hug from you?
Yeah, come on. Come to Daddy.
Some of the volunteers as well.
Yeah.
They want to hug.
Lord. See, lucky I am gay. Come on. Do you want to hug me while I finish? This is turning into a little bit odd. Come on, Daddy. Daddy nose and lips. I don't understand it. Put them on your nipples or your penis and they work better. I don't understand it. What does someone pull your eyebrow? And you know this lady behind me here? You know how we're talking about homosexuality and talking all about that? This is one beautiful example of what I'm talking about. Her sexuality is her business. And I applaud her, and I tried to tell her the other day that she will know what I'm talking about. I have to stand up and defend homosexuality, but you know what? I want to shoot them. I mean, what are you doing tongue-crashing on TV on the news? and also height, seriously, we are human beings, and it is disrespectful to not understand they won't understand. Because by the time I'm finished with you, you're like the man I am, because most of you shouldn't understand the homosexuality side. So I thank God this woman's around. I think she's amazing. Because her personality way outdoes her sexuality. Doesn't my personality way outdo her sexuality? Come on, say I'm cute. Come on. Okay, so today I've made you all cry. So I don't need to say this. I'm a success if you understood me, and I thank all of you, and I mean it. If you don't understand it, you know what? The only way to be nice is to know how to be really bad. If other people understood the show in Paris is easy, to come here today and get what I got back, I thank all of you. So, you're a success, all of you, because you understood it's not where you get to, it's how you feel along the way. Now, there's this quote, I say it's a Buddhist quote, but I'm going to be honest, I make these things up because it's disturbing, I'm a bit ooga-booga. So when you climb the mountain of success and you get to look at it, it's usually 3 kilometres above where you ever dreamed it'd be. When you go with your friends, some of them think you're underplaying it, or some of them think you're exaggerating. Take as many people to look at as possible, and then you all go, oh my God, wasn't the view amazing? Because today, where I thought my lookout was and where you put me, I'm 10 kilometres above. So I hope you enjoyed the view from my lookout.